Welcome to a new edition of the Storm Report. I am Matt Shellenberger, joined by head football coach Mike Cochran. Coach, coming off a 66-17 loss to Southern Arkansas, what were some of your overall thoughts on the game?
Well, we can't turn the ball over like we did. You know, it was one of those games where we actually, in several areas, did well for 3 for 3 in the red zone. You know, good yards per carry in terms of running the football. You know, overall, third down conversion rate was actually over 50%. So a lot of things that we do well. We only punted twice, but we ended 5 drives with turnovers, and they scored 31 points off of those turnovers. And to me, that's the real difference in the game.
Overall, you accounted for 244 yards of total offense. What were your thoughts on the offense?
Well, we moved the ball well, and like I said, the turnovers ended our drives. You know, they certainly used the clock and gave us fewer opportunities. We didn't run as many plays as we normally like to run, but again, part of that is on us because we shorted ourselves some plays by turning the football over.
Coach, shifting to the defensive side of the ball, you don't have Michael Hicks for the rest of the season. How difficult is it to replace a leader on the defense like that?
Well, he's hard to replace, especially in the run game. You know, he is a very good football player. The guys kind of rally around him, but the next guy's just going to have to step up.
Coach, Blake Cabell had 13 tackles the other day. He's been playing pretty well this season. He's obviously one of your leaders on the defensive side of the ball.
Blake's really played, especially the last few games, his best football that I've seen him play. And you know, not only is he making plays at the point of attack, but also when the ball goes away from him. And he's just been very relentless and has done a great job.
Coach, one thing that we looked at is you were 3 for 3 in the red zone. You talked about those turnovers before the red zone. What are some of the things you can overall do as an offense to try and limit some of those turnovers? Well,
I mean, we work ball security on a regular basis within our position groups and as a team. So hanging on the football is one. A couple of them were just unfortunate. You know, the receiver slips that was wide open, and so the ball goes to the DB that was behind him. You know, the other one, we get an underthrown ball because of poor pass protection. The quarterback is getting hit and can't step into his throw. You know, those two were avoidable, just like when we caught the ball and didn't hang on to it. So, or we were running the ball and didn't hang on to it.
Okay, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back on the Storm Report with head golf coach Derrick Taylor.
Being a frontwoman takes confidence, dedication, and more than a pinch of swagger. Lucky for Kim, she has Tinker Federal Credit Union on rhythm guitar. And with our mobile app helping keep her checking account in tune, she can focus on what's important. Nailing that next solo. TFCU. We get it.
Welcome back to the Storm Report. I am Matt Shellenberger, joined by head golf coach Derrick Taylor. Coach, you just hosted the GAC preview on the men's and women's side. Michael Hearn and Michaela Osborne both won individually. How significant is it for you to be able to host an event like this?
Well, to host the fall preview for our conference is very good for both teams. It helps the program out, but it also lets us play here at home and compete against our conference teams and see where we fall and where we need to improve to be able to compete in the spring for our conference championship.
Coach, talk a little bit about Michael Hearn. He won the first 3 events of the year. What are some of the improvements you've seen mainly from last year to this year?
Well, Michael has really improved mentally, matured greatly over the summer. Had a really good summer playing at home back in Wales, and came back with just a better mindset and just has been ready to play. And winning 3 times, that would be a career for most players. So to win 3 times this fall has been really exciting for him. But just the maturity he's shown, the way he's leading his team, he's showing them how to improve week to week, and it's just, you can't have anything better than that as a coach, is to have a leader like that on the team.
So. Coach, for both teams to play so well, in a tournament. I mean, obviously you always want one team to play well, but both teams played pretty well. Obviously, how satisfying as a coach is it for both teams to play so good?
Well, you want every team that you coach to play well. Obviously, having them both play well was helpful. Just gets us kind of a good set to go into the spring, because the fall is really just a time to evaluate players, evaluate where you are, see how you need to improve, and then as you go into the spring, it gives you confidence to know that you can compete with the teams in your conference.
Speaking of the spring, what are some of the main improvements that you'd like to see on both the men's and women's sides as you head into the spring?
Improvements I'd like to see on the guys' side. We really need our 4 and 5s to start playing better. You know, if we could get a 4 and 5 score that were better, our team score would be better, and we'd end up competing closer to the top on the teams on the men's side. On the women's side, just development of their skills. They're getting better this spring. We struggle with putting and chipping, which is the main part of our game. So if they could improve that, that would be greatly impactful into the rest of the season if we could get the short game for the women's side to be better.
One guy I've heard a lot about is John Abrahamson. I've heard that he's really playing well. We keep hearing good things about him. What's he going to bring to the table for your team?
Well, Johnny came over. He's a Swede. We call him Johnny Swede. So he's a great young man. Worked hard. He had to come over and sit out due to eligibility stuff because he'd been out too long, so he had to be in residence. But his abilities are right up there with Hearn. They compete in qualifying for the 1 and 2 spots back and forth, and he's just his maturity and his abilities are going to take our team to another level, and really he'll save us a lot of shots because now everybody will bump down, and the 4 and 5 will now be playing for that 5 spot where he'll probably be in the Johnny will probably be 1 or 2 on our team and really make a difference in our score. So,
all right, Coach, congratulations on such a successful fall. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with head football coach Mike Cochran.
Rowing to victory requires expertise, accountability, and most of all, teamwork. That's why Kate has Tinker Federal Credit Union right there in the boat with her, helping ensure she crosses each financial finish line in first place, so she can focus on what's important. Getting a little more bling. TFCU. We get it.
Welcome back to the Storm Report. I am Matt Shellenberger, joined by head football coach Mike Cochran. Coach, Arkansas Monticello coming again this Saturday. You head back on the road. What kind of challenges are they going to bring?
Well, this is probably the best front four that we faced on their defensive side. They're strong and they're fast, and they actually have a good, solid 2 deep that they play. And so that'll be the challenge. They are very solid defensively. Offensively, they're kind of a mixed identity. They've got 3 different quarterbacks they've played, partially due to injury, it appears, and also just using a different skill set with another guy. So you have to prepare for a lot. 2 different styles. Offensively, they've got a lot of athletes, and so that's always a challenge when guys who have people who can make plays in space, so those are the things that we, I think, are preparing for. Special teams wise, they're very good there because of the athletes they have.
Coach, you talked how they played so many different quarterbacks. They're 5th in the conference overall in passing yards with 1,840. What are some of the schemes and types of things you can do to try and slow them down on the defensive side of the ball?
There's not a whole lot of changes, but obviously if a team is wanting to throw the ball, you need to get pressure on them. But you also have to, disrupt the timing by knocking receivers off their routes and those kinds of things. And they do a good job of getting the ball out quick, which makes it hard to put pressure. So it'll really come down more to affecting the timing of the routes.
Coach, you talked about their special teams, and I wanted to touch on that a little bit. They're 3rd in the conference in kickoff return yards they're averaging 22.4 yards per return, and they're 2nd in punt return yards with 10.1 per return. That adds a whole new element to a football team when they're able to succeed on the special team.
They've got some very good return men, and their schemes are solid, but they've got some guys who can make you miss carrying the football.
What are they going to do on defense to try and limit your offensive production?
They appear to be a team that will want to do it with their front four. They will bring pressure at times, and it's been different from game to game. But really by letting those front four do the job and in terms of putting pressure on the quarterback.
You played your last 2 games at home, about to hit the road again. And what kind of environment is it going to be up there in Arkansas? And obviously, are you kind of excited to get back on the road just a little bit and the challenges that that's going to bring?
Environment, I'm not really sure. I've never been there. This will be my first trip to Arkansas Monticello. It is their homecoming, so that should make for a fun environment. Should be a decent crowd. And road trips are always can always be fun, especially when you go and you stay overnight as a team and have some time to connect and spend together just in transit so just another opportunity to go play, whether it's here or there, it doesn't matter.
What are you going to have to do on Saturday? The main thing you're going to have to do on Saturday to get a win?
I protect the football, not turn it over is going to be first and foremost, and then I think we're going to have to run the ball well, and then defensively, I think we need to get the ball out, get it on the ground.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's edition of the Storm Report. Be sure to join us next week as we recap the Arkansas Monticello game and preview the game against Southwestern Oklahoma State. Thank you.